Yes, guys, we're live. Of course, you're watching Mtag More Than a Game, and I'm Srini, and I'm joined by Ritvik, Shivang, and Amog. In case you don't know, Ritvik, just like myself, is a City fan. Amog is a very happy man because Chelsea drew Porto because he's a Chelsea fan. Shivang must be confused about what he's doing right now because he was a Manchester United fan. So we're in the Europa League, so we're not covering that. But anyway, if you're here, you know that we are covering the Champions League draw, and it's been an unbelievable draw. Of course, Manchester City face off against Borussia Dortmund, an Erling Holland audition, if you will. Of course, Porto face Chelsea, Bayern Munich face PSG, which is probably the headline round of the draw, and of course, Real Madrid face Liverpool. So. I'm going to go first to Amol because, of course, he was very happy. He sent me three heart eye emojis after the draw. So, Amol, what do you make of the draw? Because Porto beat Juve as well, and they were in our group, and they're not the easiest team to face. So what do you make of it?
Honestly, I think we got the best draw, best fixture out of the possible, seven contenders, and I'm quite happy. I was actually expecting Real Madrid or Porto. That would be for
Yeah,
us good, I guess, like a decent competition for us to advance to the next round. And yeah, I think since the first game is an away leg, it definitely will be tricky. We saw the defense of Porto when they played Juventus, and hopefully our defense is as compact as theirs. I mean, obviously after seeing the other day's performance by outplaying Atletico, I'm pretty happy that we have the right momentum going into this game.
yeah, 100%. I mean, Atletico Madrid did their best impression of Burnley once again, and Chelsea did what Chelsea do. But of course, I'm going to go to my fellow City fan in Ritwik. Borussia Dortmund. It's never going to be easy, even though they're not having the best of seasons. So what do you make of that?
Man, firstly, I think the draw is all scripted. Like you can't write this down. Liverpool playing Madrid, Barca playing, Bayern playing PSG. I mean, whatever,
Yeah.
man. And yeah,
Two
it's also
UCL
tough.
finals right there.
Yeah, exactly. You can't like you have to script it. But I mean, I feel it's going to be very tough because of that boy, that striker over there, Erling Haaland. Obviously, you want to impress the likes of Pep Guardiola and the rest of the crew, and it's
Yeah.
very important for us to get that first match lead because it's at home and we play amazing at the Etihad. Because I don't know what happens to us in away fixtures, like we collapse, especially in the Champions League. And the jinx is, you every year is our year, but again, it's not our year. It's like that's what it is. What do you think, Sri?
I mean, you sort of hit the nail on the head, man. As a City fan, we've gone through a lot of pain in the Champions League. We apple crumble in Europe's elite competition, one could say. But it's never going to be easy. It's weird because like I predicted Real Madrid Liverpool to happen yesterday when I was talking to a friend, and I predicted this to happen as well. And it's never going to be easy. Jude Bellingham as well. He's going to press the life out of our midfield. Of course, Erling Holland is a machine. So they have a lot of they
Jadon
just have
Sancho
a
is playing. He'll also want to
they,
impress.
yeah, Jadon Sancho 2021, and of course the City connection. He's been so good this year, so it's not going to be easy at all. But then again, I think this is a City team that's very resolute, that is built on a fantastic defense. You know as well as I do that Ruben Diaz and John Stones have been impregnable this season. Jao Cancelo is probably the best fullback in the world. You go on and on. The attack as well is super fluid and is not going to be easy to handle, and especially for that Dortmund defense, which is a bit of a shambles, honestly, because they fit the likes of Emre Can in there. I don't think it's good enough to win the Champions League for sure.
I
And
think
I
I
think,
think
yeah, go on.
the problem is see Dortmund's defense is, of course, like we can penetrate them, but the problem is Dortmund counter really quick and really
Yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah.
and it will be a test for Ruben Diaz. I think probably the toughest test of the season for him.
Definitely.
Facing
But
two
the,
of the
but the
best strikers.
but the good thing about the City team is that even though under Pep Guardiola we've had some incredible teams, but then the only sort of weak link was that we could get very easily counted on. But I don't think that's the case anymore because even if a Cancelo is in midfield, we still have those three at the back. Whether that's Zinchenko on the left, whether that's Aymeric Laporte, it could be anyone. So that's why I do feel quietly confident because I think defensively we're the best defense in Europe. That's just numbers. That's not even me showing off. That's literally a fact. So
I'm
yeah,
still not. I'm still not
I'm
confident.
yeah, I'm not confident in the sense that I think we'll blow them apart. I wasn't confident against Lyon as well because you actually can't take anyone lightly in this competition. But at the same time, I would, and I would expect people to expect us to go through, and if we don't, I do think it's an L. So that's my personal take. Shivang, what do you think? What do you make of the draw in general? Of course, the headline, sort of round of the draw is Bayern Munich versus PSG. I mean, that is last year's final. So many ballers on show. You have of course Neymar, Mbappe, Serge Gnabry. The list goes on and on. So what do you make of that tie?
The blockbuster tie. I mean, that is something that everyone will be looking forward to. And again, I feel this will be a more open game because there won't be any pressure of the final. So we can probably expect some goals as well. And Lewandowski could be the decisive factor. I mean, like he is the number one striker in the world. So he could come in handy. And I expect goals, which is something that wasn't there in the final. So I expect a more open game and expect goals. So really looking forward to that. And of course, Real Madrid versus Liverpool. I mean, Salah will probably be looking over his other shoulder because Ramos is on the other side, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens over there. And I do fancy Real to go through though because of the Liverpool defense, especially the centre back pairing. So, and of course, yeah, City Dortmund will be interesting. Will be very high scoring, but
Yeah.
I somehow feel that City will need their strikers. They will probably need an Aguero to just get in that extra bit and go past Dortmund. I think Dortmund can probably cause a few problems to City's defense with Haaland and Sancho. So it'll be interesting for sure. And then, of course, the last one, Chelsea Porto. I don't think it will be a very easy game for Chelsea because Porto are also very compact. They defend deep, and I sort of expect it to be a tactical game where both the teams will look to defend, will sit deep, and probably a moment of brilliance, individual brilliance, will decide the tie.
Yeah, totally agree. So, guys, I think we should go. We've touched on every fixture, sort of, thoda karke, but I think we should touch on every sort of fixture completely, and then sort of decide what we think. So, Amol, I'm going to go to you for this. Bayern PSG. Shivang said that he expects a lot of goals to happen. Last year's final was slightly disappointing. I'm not going to lie because I expected it to go to extra time and Bayern to win 3-2, but that really did not happen. So, what do you expect this time? Of course, the stakes are not as high. So, how do you see it going? How do you feel about the tie? Tell me everything.
I think definitely, being a big high-profile fixture is gonna, impact the game.
Yeah,
Last time around when we saw the final, PSG were trying to, press up higher on the pitch and try to at least get one goal in. But, the off-the-ball pressing that Bayern Munich did in that second half was brilliant. And, they weren't able, they just couldn't get hold of the ball. And,
yeah,
they had a key player in Thiago for that, season, and he was definitely in the UEFA Team of the Year. They'll obviously be missing him now as well, given that he's playing Madrid. But Bayern have still not kept like a good clean sheet, I would say, in the Champions League. They have conceded goals. I was expecting like an easy sort of route against Lazio in the round of 16. I thought they'd keep a clean sheet in both legs, but to my surprise, they didn't. So I feel like PSG has the potential to break that, and I think the way they played against Barca, you can see that Verratti can hold the ball up really high. He has no pressure on him at times. He
yeah.
definitely will cause transition problems for Munich. So that seems to be an interesting perspective of the game for me. And we all know that the high-profile signings of PSG, especially their wing backs so far, have performed really well. And with Bayern's dominant midfield, that will definitely be a challenge for Paris. So definitely an exciting time.
Yeah,
I
hundred
think that's
percent.
a very good point from you because if you notice, if you followed Bayern in the Bundesliga, there've been at least 6 or 7 times that they've trailed by 2 goals, even 3 goals, and they've come back. But that
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
against like a smaller team. That's not against a PSG. A PSG will be able to hold the lead if they get one.
yeah,
So I fancy PSG to cause an upset because Neymar will be back and under the likes of Koch, who is a very experienced manager in the Champions League. Obviously, Flick has won it. He hasn't won it, but still, I reckon Koch might be able to cause an upset over there, as pointed out by
yeah. That's quite interesting, actually. Interesting takes from all of you guys. I do agree with Amog and Ritwik in the sense that like Bayern are defensively they're not the team they once were. I think last season David Alaba had a fantastic season. Jerome Boateng was undergoing a bit of a resurrection, if you will. This season, on the
Alfonso
other hand,
Davies.
sorry.
Alfonso Davies also.
Yeah, exactly. The whole defense was very good. Benjamin Pavard provided that balance on the right. This season, on the other hand, you've seen because Davies was injured as well. You've seen the likes of Luca Hernandez play on that side because they want to be a little secure defensively, a little more secure defensively. You saw their defensive frailties against, I think it was Hoffenheim at the start of the season, where Andrej Kramaric looks like R9. So it's a mixed bag. I think that as Ritwik said perfectly, I think their attacking talent sort of papers over the cracks because of course they have the likes of Leroy Sané and Serge Gnabry and of course one of the greatest strikers of all time in Robert Lewandowski. I don't even think that's an outlandish statement anymore. The guy is a cyborg. So of course, Paris have all the talent in the world. It's just that I hope Marco Verratti is fit for that because if he isn't, I think their midfield just does not look the same. Him and Leandro Paredes in tandem are absolutely excellent. But when one of them goes, like we saw in the Champions League final, they really miss a passer between the lines because, of course, they have someone like Paredes to do that. But when you have Verratti to do that, along with all the defensive work that he does, honestly makes for just the perfect central midfielder for me. So it's going to be a very exciting game. Goals or not, I don't particularly know, but I hope that they're at their best because otherwise, what's the point of the Champions League? What's the point of such huge ties happening if we can get hyped about them when we do such live shows, but we see absolute rubbish and awful finishing from Mbappe like we did last year. So I hope that that does not happen. But let's move on to Real Madrid versus Liverpool. Of course, Shivang, you did touch on that. You touched on Liverpool and their defensive frailties, but since Fabinho has gone back in midfield, they look a much better outfit. Of course, Thiago looks the part. Gradually he looks the part, and he is a fantastic midfielder regardless of the kind of season he's having. Jurgen Klopp, of course, remains one of the best managers on the planet. And Real Madrid are in disarray, and if Karim Benzema does not have a masterclass, they just look in tatters. So, do you think it will be that easy for Real Madrid, or do you think it will be a very very close game?
It won't be easy for Real Madrid, but then again, when I was speaking about the defensive partnership of Liverpool, I especially wanted, Nat Phillips and Kabak. I mean, yes, Fabinho is out there to protect them right in front of them, but again, I feel that is one area that can be exploited, and that is a very crucial area. So I do fancy Real Madrid to have an edge over Liverpool in this tie. But then again, I mean, we haven't really seen Salah, Mane, and Firmino, and now even Jota is there. We haven't seen them firing as such. So it could be one of those games where they get going, and that could cause Madrid some problems. But I still think that going to the match, Real Madrid do have an upper hand slightly.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Amog, what do you think? Do you fancy Real Madrid to go through, or do you think Liverpool will produce their European nights and whatever they like to hype up? Do you think Liverpool can produce something special?
I think I actually disagree with Shivang. I think that Liverpool will go through. Real Madrid have been very fragile in the league, and it's been a very unpredictable season. Honestly, obviously they had a lot of injury concerns in the group stages of the Champions League, but I fancy Liverpool to like hold it off. I mean, I think we saw glimpses of that Fabinho and Thiago partnership in the second leg against Leipzig, and if they can recreate something like that again against Madrid, I think they have a fair chance of at least transitioning to the counter attack quite fast. And we obviously get a bit scared when Ramos is injured or he can't play because of suspensions. So you know the defense definitely should be fit and hold on to like what they have at Madrid, but
Yeah.
I'm not seeing the same attacking strength that they had a couple seasons ago. So I'm quite doubtful whether they will be able to hold off Liverpool from scoring as well as creating chances of their own. And even if, let's say, Benzema does score against Liverpool, it's definitely because Liverpool have been pressing too high up, and they haven't been able to stop that counter attack uh,
Yeah.
in the final third. So I still believe that Liverpool will go through. They have that attacking threat, and Jota is fit now. He's giving competition to Firmino, and I see them scoring.
Yeah. What do you think? Same question for you, Ritvik. Of course, Amog saying that he fancies Liverpool to do the business. What do you think, Ritvik?
Yeah, I think Amok put a very good point over there that Madrid lack the firepower that they did a few seasons ago. They don't have the depth in attack, and Hazard just got injured again, and he probably
Yeah.
might not even be able to play football again if he gets a surgery. That's what the doctors are saying. So that's
Yeah.
like very sad. But yeah, coming back to the game, I do fancy Liverpool to go through just because it's much more to play for them because they're out of pretty much every other competition barring the FA Cup, which I
Yeah.
mean, Klopp doesn't take seriously, plays kids over there. So, so yeah, I really think these
Yeah.
aren't quarterfinals. These are one-off games. These are this is much more than that for Liverpool especially because they want to redeem themselves against the disappointing final that they went through a few seasons ago. And with everyone back now, slowly getting back to full fitness. Okay, they have a little bit of a defensive problem right now. They still do, but I still think Madrid. See, it's a poor defense versus a poor attack. So I don't know what to say. I
Yeah.
still think
You know what? I think it's going to be 3-1 because I agree. I think Liverpool will go through. Like, I don't get me wrong. I think Liverpool's attack is a bit of a mess, but of course they have Luis Figo's son in Diego Jota because he was never this good. He's come to Liverpool and he just looks absolutely incredible. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I agree with you guys, man. I think that Real Madrid are very reliant on someone like Karim Benzema. Even now, he's probably in the form of his life post Ronaldo, which is ridiculous and just an indicator of how good he is anyway. And in the group stages as well, as Amok said, I think they were an absolute mess. I think they got ruined once or twice by Shakhtar Donetsk as well. So you can't really bet on Real Madrid. I mean, sure they have that pedigree and all of those things, but I think that essentially, like Liverpool are a cup team. Of course, they've gone on to win the Premier League with 99 points and all of that, and they're a brilliant side. But I've always thought of Liverpool as being a cup team. That's why they in their first season they sort of entered that Europa League final as well. So I think that Jurgen Klopp is going to make sure that I don't think the defense has been as bad throughout the season. It's just that they've not really had any options, and because that defense has had people like Fabinho and Henderson play there, that's affected their midfield, which has also affected their attack, and that's sort of been a domino effect, and it's kind of stayed there honestly. So it's a mixed bag, but I don't fancy this Real Madrid team at all. I don't rate them at all. I don't think that I think that if they're one or two injuries away from absolutely being in tatters, that's not the case with teams like Bayern Munich and City, for example. Like if Sergio Ramos doesn't play, that defense is a joke because Rafael Varane just does not look like the same player when he doesn't have a leader alongside him. So there's a lot of elements that go into this, and I personally feel that Liverpool will unfortunately win the semi-finals. I hope they don't win it again, man. Please, I want a bad season for them. I'm sick of it. Aryan Panse is saying Liverpool aren't in the FA Cup either. Lol. Yes, they're not, man. That's Liverpool don't take FA Cup seriously at all. Liverpool think that the FA Cup is like the Ranji Trophy or something. It's another sport altogether. I don't understand it at all. But anyway, let's move on from Real Madrid and Liverpool. Of course, we touched on City versus BVB. So I want to know what our rival fans think. Amog is not really a rival, like money wise maybe because he's a technical, but not really. But anyway, I'll go to Shivang for this one. He's a real rival because he supports Manchester United. I think he should stop doing that anyway. But what do you make of City BVB? You touched on how it won't be an easy game, but who do you see going through? Do you still think it's going to be City, or will BVB pull a bit of a surprise?
I hate myself for saying this, but I think it'll be City. As I said, it's going to be a high-scoring game. I expect lots and lots
Right.
of goals. But again, I mean, I do feel that somewhere down the line, City will need the likes of Aguero and Jesus up front. I don't think that KDB or Foden or that false nine thing will be going against Dortmund. So that could be crucial if Aguero has a great night and if one of the strikers plays really well, then City could really run away with it. But again, I
Yeah.
feel City's defense is really solid, and as good as Haaland has been all season, he will face problems against the likes of Ruben Diaz. So I do expect City to go through, but I expect goals as well. But I mean, I don't think it'll be tough for City, but it'll be a high-scoring game for sure. And I expect City to go through. Not a problem for them, I think.
A fair point, Amog. Same question to you. What do you think?
I think City are going through as well. Uh, you know, uh, I've just seen in the Champions League that Dortmund have gaping holes in defense. It's just
Yeah.
against Sevilla, we Chelsea beat Sevilla hollow. So in that comparison, I see City, and I mean, if Sevilla is getting goals against Dortmund, then I'm pretty sure that City will definitely score. They have the squad depth to penetrate their defense, and I think that yes, the counter attack is definitely a problem. It's a threat from Dortmund, and but yeah, I mean, I do expect Haaland to score a couple, but that's probably at in Germany. I think City will be able to hold it at home. I think they have the attacking threat, and I have a feeling, like my gut feeling is that Foden is gonna get back a couple of goals and assist some. He's gonna have a good amount of goal contributions, in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to that, to see the youth, actually break down that youthful Dortmund team. So I'm looking forward to
Whatever,
City maybe fighting against PSG or Bayern.
Ritvik, you
whatever
were going to say
happens,
something?
yeah, I was saying whatever happens, I just hope we don't go out on away goals. Like anything but away goals. It's okay. I don't mind even like obviously I'll be sad if we lose, but if we lose, we need to lose not on away goals by aggregate. I mean that is
Yeah, good
yeah,
point.
it hurts too much. And
Ritvik,
See,
also,
in the
I was,
absence of Aguero, I think City have done amazing.
yeah,
Aguero is back; he's fit,
that's
but
how we.
I don't think
That's
his integration into the squad is as much as it was before. So obviously, City are moving
that's
on,
good,
and
right?
Haaland is
That's a good.
definitely a target. So this is an audition for Erling Haaland if he can, play under Pep. But
yes.
City will win.
And how many
Audition for Haaland and bit of a homecoming and revenge for Sancho as well. I mean, that'll be interesting
Yes,
too.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
He'll
exactly.
he'll probably
Ritvik,
he'll probably be auditioning for his for the neighbors.
yeah, he definitely will. But Ritvik, I want to ask you something because, of course, you're a City fan just like myself. There's been conversation about Aguero. Shivang mentioned Aguero being very crucial if he actually starts that game. Amog, on the other hand, mentioned, and something that I agree with, which I'll come to, is that Aguero's sort of importance in this current team is, I mean, it's clearly not as significant as it was. If it was, then we wouldn't be winning this league, right? So, what do you think? Do you think Aguero will be crucial, or do you not think his influence will matter?
I don't think he's going to play, honestly. Because let me tell you why. Because Dortmund are a fragile team defensively, and the pressing of
Yeah,
Jesus is going to be very important. Because we've seen that
yeah,
against Madrid, what he did. So I think Jesus and Foden will be very important. Their pressing will be very important, and
true.
I think Jesus is going to start over Aguero. That's my
Yeah,
pick.
yeah, you know what? I totally agree with you. I mean, we're City fans. Sergio Aguero is an absolute god to us. Like the yeah, I mean, you have his picture as well, but it's sort of tough to even put it in words what Sergio Aguero means to us. It's on a different level, honestly. But at the same time, we've really reacted, with the absence of Aguero perfectly. Really, this should have been an injury that ruins our title challenge. Simple, because we have one of the best strikers of all time getting injured, but that's not affected us at all. In fact, we've sort of improved from that. Pep Guardiola has done what Pep Guardiola does, and we're going to win another league. And I think that fluidity that a false nine provides is just worth its weight in gold. And as Ritvik mentioned, the pressing as well. If someone like a Gabriel Jesus plays, or even if he doesn't play and we play Kevin De Bruyne as a false nine like we did against Chelsea, that's going to be extremely difficult to work with because Gary Neville mentioned this when he was on commentary for the League Cup game against United. He mentioned that the reason why it's so difficult to play against a false nine is because the centre backs don't have anyone to mark. So because they don't have anyone to mark, they tend to get drawn out. And we see the likes of Riyad Mahrez or Foden not particularly play as strikers, but be very close to it. So City sometimes have like four forward players. So it's tough to actually decide who is a false nine in that system. So that's
And
why I think the Dortmund
even
defense
when
is really going to struggle.
yeah, yeah, even when Jesus plays, a few of the games, if you notice, he plays on the left wing. He doesn't play as a striker.
Exactly.
Foden on
Yeah.
plays as a false nine, and Jesus plays on the left wing, like the game
Yeah.
in Madrid.
Exactly, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is that like Gabriel Jesus? In fact, he strays out totally out wide. He plays as a right wing. It's very frustrating sometimes, but then you can't sort of guess where a particular player is going to be, which is why that whole concept of a fullback and a winger being one on one against each other does exist and also doesn't exist with City, which is why it's kind of impossible. There's like four forward players in there. Gundogan plays as an 8 and also as a left winger and a 10 and a 9. It's very fluid. So I think that is going to be key. So I don't think Aguero is going to come into it personally. Amog, you had a question or
Yeah.
something?
No, I was just going to add that I think that if City play a back three against Dortmund, the game is won. Because I think that Haaland is very strong physically as well as he's quite tall. And
Yeah,
City have, in the defense, they have obviously Stones, Laporte, and Diaz. And, with Fernandinho also playing, as a central defender or even in the midfield,
yeah.
if there are wing backs playing, one centre back can mark, Haaland, and that just might reduce that goal scoring threat from Haaland. So I think if City play a back three against Dortmund, they probably have a better chance of winning the game.
I
I was
actually have something to say to that. Sorry, go
Yeah,
on. Go on,
I
go
was
on.
going to say that I was going to touch upon the back three, but I think we're not, that is going to be suicide for us, actually, because that's what we did against Lyon last year. We played a back three right now, like last game week, and we didn't look very good. We won the game, but we weren't at our best, and that is a classic example of Pep Guardiola overthinking. So I don't think he should do that.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, Fernandinho dropping down or Rodri dropping down in defense while Cancelo goes ahead is probably our version of a back three, which should be there. But starting with a back three with two wing backs is not a good idea.
I
Yeah,
don't think City should overcomplicate this. I mean, keep it simple like they have been doing over the past so many matches, and they'll easily get through. If they complicate, if Pep thinks too much and it's a back three he starts with and whatever, then I mean things could go haywire. But so keep it simple and keep it as it is, and I don't think it's going to be a problem for City.
yeah. So my personal take on this is that I agree with Ritwik in the sense that playing a traditional back three, like we did against Fulham, was it, where we played Laporte, Diaz, and Stones, is not the answer for sure. Just because I don't think, first of all, even though we can defend with those kinds of players, what we tend to do is we tend to do a Sheffield in a sense and play like overlapping centre backs, which is where Laporte and Stones sort of play as full backs. And João Cancelo is really good as a right wing back, but he's more of a midfielder. So how this system works is it's not a back four anyway. When City play four defenders, in possession they'll play like four at the back, but in possession we play three at the back. So like because João Cancelo sort of joins the midfield, one could always question how is if your right back is playing in midfield, where's your defense? You're only playing with two defenders. That's suicide. But we have either Kyle Walker dropping or we have Zinchenko dropping in that position. So even if someone does the best counter in the world, you still have three defenders to beat, which is why we technically always play a back three. And when we lose the ball, a João Cancelo somehow enters the back four, and it is a back four, and a lot of people drop back. So that's why it is a back three always in a sense. But to play a fixed back three, as Ritwik said, is not the smartest decision, honestly. And in a back three, especially, you would expect João Cancelo to play as a left wing back. But the most suitable player for that role actually is Benjamin Mendy, and Benjamin Mendy is not very good at football at the minute. So that's my personal take. I'll take a couple of the comments and then we'll. What's the other fixture? Oh my God, Chelsea Porto. Do we have to cover Chelsea Porto? Anyway, chalo kuch nahi hua. Sandeep Malhotra saying, and he's making a very, very good point. Battles are won and lost in the midfield, and with Kroos and Modric's experience versus Liverpool's inexperienced midfield
Yes.
and defense. I mean, so personally, I'll take these comments very quickly, and then we'll move on to the next section, and then we will say bye bye. Yeah, Kroos and Modric, Kroos
I
especially.
agree with this comment, yeah.
Yeah, Kroos has been outstanding. Liverpool's midfield do have to step up, and with the absence of Henderson, that could be a major factor. You never know. Honestly, it's actually an underrated tie. This one, like I don't think it's as exciting because these teams are not where they were, but it's a very very underrated tie between two teams that have a lot of pedigree.
Plus,
And
it's
fun
pretty much
fact,
a similar team. Both teams
sorry?
are pretty much the same. Both teams are pretty much the same that faced off in the final. So
Yeah,
they'll
yeah,
know
yeah.
midfield will know how the other midfield plays. So that is going to
Exactly.
be
Exactly. Sandeep, of course, saying no player scored more goals against Liverpool than the Champions League than Karim Benzema. We all touched on Benzema really. Benzema has sort of, shout out to Benzema, honestly. He's
Yeah,
so underrated. He is one of the best strikers I've ever seen in my life. He
He
is such
stepped
a
up.
talented striker. He can do so much. I'm actually thinking of getting a Benzema jersey anyway. I'm a big fan. Arnav Chawla saying,
and
sorry, you have something to say?
yeah, so that's exactly what I was saying, that we shouldn't be saying things like, just Real Madrid just have Benzema. he plays a huge part, and I think he could be crucial in deciding the tie. So his factor will
Yeah.
be right up there, and he could be like deciding the tie. So I think Karim Benzema will probably be the superstar of the tie for me.
I think the reason why we say that is because, like last year against us, for example, Benzema was having a very, very decent game. But if we mark Benzema out of the game, and that was not even a great City defense, we felt like we could just play this game for another 3 days, and Madrid won't even lay a glove on us. So that's the problem. Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, the absence of Hazard, the attack is not good enough. If Benzema does not have a great game, not because of Liverpool's defense, because he just doesn't have a good game on the night, you don't have anyone to pick up the slack. If Foden has a bad game, for example, you have Kevin De Bruyne, or if I don't know, take any top team. PSG, if Neymar has a poor night, you could see Mbappe putting on a masterclass. So that's probably why we're underrating Real Madrid. Quickly, Rodri or Fernandinho. Rodri has to be hit. Fernandinho is a goat, but he's not starting in the minute. Gonna need a few fouls from the DM to stop Dortmund's counter attack. That's what we do anyway. Tactical foul FC. Sandeep Malhotra saying Dawood and Bellingham will press the life out of Rodri and Fernandinho. Only one of them will play anyway. And Bellingham is an excellent ball winner, but our defense is definitely better. But I think Bellingham should start for England. That's my personal take.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he's gonna play.
sorry?
Sorry.
I think he's gonna choose Fernandinho just for that particular game. Just
I
for
don't
Haaland.
think so.
Just
I
for
don't
Haaland.
think so.
Yeah, it's debatable, but I don't know why I can sense it.
Fair enough.
Rodri for me.
Fair shot. Yeah, I think Rodri as well. He's been amazing anyway. See, guys, we'll be honest. Four people touching on Chelsea Porto. It's not a four-man job. I'll be honest. Chelsea Porto. We respect Porto, and Porto could go on and win it because that's what this UCL is about. But come on, man, we don't need four people to talk about Pepe and Sergio Oliveira. So let's move on from that, guys. Quick predictions, and not score predictions, just who you think will go through, real quick, just to give the viewers a bit of a reminder, and also touch on very quickly what you make of the fact that the winner of City and BVB could play the winner of Bayern PSG, and the winner of Porto Chelsea could play Real Madrid Liverpool. Be very quick, guys, and then we'll call it a day. So I'll start with Ritwik for this one. Actually, what do you make of all of those things?
Yeah, I think City's gonna go through if he doesn't overthink. I think he's gonna go through, and at the other end, I hope PSG go through, and then we have a City PSG El Clasico or whatever people call it. Because I just
Do you think Bayern will lose that? Do you think PSG will win that? Yeah.
I want Bayern to lose that, but I can see it's a 50-50 for me. It's not.
If you had to put your money on it, who would you put it on?
Bayern, just because they won it.
Cool. So let's go for Bayern then. Okay.
Let's go for Bayern. Because
Chelsea
it's gonna be
Porto,
Bayern. Then
Yeah,
over
that's
there, I
it.
feel, but Liverpool's going to go through, Chelsea's going to go through, and the finals. Final, if I have to put my money on it, it's going to be either Liverpool City. I can see it.
Unbelievable. Actually, you know what? That's a lot of fun. Amol, I'm gonna go to you again. What's your road to the final?
So obviously, I think
are
that
in the final, no?
the Man
Chelsea are
City
definitely in the
Dortmund.
final.
Sorry,
Chelsea are in the final for you, right?
I strongly believe so. I strongly believe so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
because-
what's your road to the final?
No, so if you look at this obviously the left hand side, which is City, Dortmund, PSG, and Bayern, right? These four on the left side, that's obviously a tougher opposition. Obviously, that's going to be the matches to watch to see the difficulty and who's going to break through.
Right.
On the other hand, I think Liverpool, Real, Porto, Chelsea is definitely an easier mix. So I see obviously Chelsea going through to the semis, and I also feel like Liverpool will conquer Madrid. So I think it'll be a Liverpool City clash, Liverpool Chelsea clash. I'm sorry. And on the left side, I think I personally feel like PSG should go through, simply because every time they've reached a stage where they have very tough opposition, they land up losing. Last season, we obviously saw that they had Leipzig and they had, they just had an easier route comparatively because there were a lot of upsets in that, in the knockout stages. So I would personally prefer PSG. And with the City Dortmund,
Who would you put your money on? Oh, he's gone. So he I don't think he prefers PSG. Anyway, let him come back, guys. A technical error, if you will. Shivang, what's your road to the final, bro?
So City Dortmund, Pep needs to keep it simple. He needs to keep it basic, and City will cruise through. PSG Bayern, as much as I would love to see an oil classico, I think
God.
Bayern will probably go through, and it's going to be City versus Bayern, which is going to be a huge, huge game. Liverpool Real, I do fancy Real to go through, and I think Chelsea will just edge it over Porto. So that could be Real versus Chelsea. The final for me, the final that I think is going to happen will be Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid.
Wow, that's going to be one tasty final. Amog, is your Wi-Fi working, or do I go? Because
You go.
I think it should go.
I'll go, man. I'll go. Of course, Shashwat making a comment. Chelsea versus Bayern final. We win it like 2012. Wow, you're very optimistic, man. I mean, if Tuchel does that, I mean, then it's boring. Come on, you've just come, bro. At least have one bad season. ऐसे थोड़ी होता है. Anyway, so my road to the final is City BVB. It's not going to be easy for sure. Pep overthinks everything. So this idea of how Pep shouldn't overthink is not fully accurate in my opinion. Not in the sense that he doesn't do it, but in the sense that the overthinking has its benefits also. Like this season, playing without a striker when a Jesus is fit, or playing Jesus as a left wing back against Real Madrid and dominating them, it works also. So I'm sort of mixed on it, I'll be honest, but I don't want him to. But yeah, City will go through. Bayern PSG, I don't know. Yeah, I actually have no idea what will happen in that game. I honestly would not put my money on it because Bayern's defense isn't the best. I have a weird hot take that Neymar kind of holds back Mbappe. Honestly, I think so. I don't think Mbappe is as direct when Neymar plays. Personally, I think Neymar hogs the ball a little. Even though I love Neymar.
Can we conclude that that's the game of the quarterfinal?
Easy, bro. Easy. There's no
Absolutely,
competition.
absolutely.
I think the games of quarterfinal are Bayern PSG. I have a pen because I'm taking this very seriously. Bayern PSG, City versus BVB, then Real Madrid Liverpool, then Porto Chelsea. I
In
think.
terms of excitement, it's going to be City versus Borussia Dortmund.
For you,
In terms of
number
goals
one?
and excitement.
Maybe
Yeah,
actually.
like if you, as a viewer, yes.
We're glad to see people tuning in to watch City, man. Glad to
Yeah.
see other.
They should, man. They should. We play such an exciting brand of football. But yeah, City will go through. Bayern PSG. I'll just go for Bayern actually because Bayern are still machines. So I'll go for Bayern. Porto Chelsea. I don't think it'll be easy also, but I think Chelsea will win. I think Chelsea still need to fully dominate a team. I have not seen them dominate. I like they can dominate possession wise and all of that, but in terms of beating a team 4-5 nil, I've not seen that happen yet. Where you're like, oh my god, this is what Chelsea can do. Jesus, like I've not seen that. So that's why I'm not mixed on Chelsea. It's a bit of a weird experience always watching Chelsea. I'm not fully entertained ever, but I'm always quite impressed. So I don't know what to make of them. Chelsea will go through anyway. Real Madrid, Liverpool. You know what? I'm actually quite confused. I said Liverpool before, but man, I don't know.
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm saying Liverpool. My gut is saying Liverpool, but because I'm also thinking Madrid and Liverpool doesn't matter. City versus Bayern semi-final. I'm a fan. I'm going to be partial. City in the final. Liverpool, Chelsea in the final. So in the semi-final, I think Chelsea will go through, and City will win the Champions League. So
City versus Chelsea. City versus Chelsea final for you.
Yeah, man. I don't know why I think Liverpool will. I think Thomas Tuchel will do something crazy and reach the final, but he'll lose because City are City. But only because City, Bayern. Of course, I'm not underestimating Borussia Dortmund. I'm just saying if we face Bayern, that's the ultimate test. If we can beat Bayern Munich, then it's another thing altogether.
To get after beating them would be. I mean, no, I'm not saying anything. We beat Madrid last time, and
we did.
I'm not saying about confidence and attitude or anything. Roy Keane stuff.
Don't say it. Amok, I'll go to you because your Wi-Fi was like your Wi-Fi just disconnected. Sorry, I was caught thinking something. Yeah. So, अरे यार मेरा ये minimize हो गया tab. Sorry. हाँ. Amok, what's your road to the final, bro? Because I missed your points honestly. Are you stuck? Oh yeah, you're stuck. Oh God, I thought you were listening intently. Jesus. I thought I was सुन रहा है ऐसे अच्छे से. Anyway, Daksh is another City fan who says, please don't jinx anything. We're cursed. Yeah, dude, that's us, man. I mean, we are cursed as fans, honestly. He says City versus Chelsea final for me. Oh, Srini, great minds think alike. Thank you, man. Great minds indeed do think alike. Abhishek saying agenda against Bayern. There's no agenda. We think Bayern are amazing. If their defense fixes up, they'll probably smoke everything
Bayern in the final
Champions
for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying City Bayern because I'm partial and I do think we're like a more complete team. But Bayern on their day could absolutely destroy any team in the world. That team and that manager are different. So there's no agenda. But so Ritwik, for you, City do in the Champions League?
Of course,
You're not
man.
saying
I
it.
can't name anyone
Okay,
else.
yeah, you've got. Yeah, I'm also saying City. Shivang, for you, who wins the Champions League?
Bayern Munich, they defend the title.
They defend the title. And Amog, is your Wi-Fi working now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh my God! Finally, bro. At first, I thought you were listening to what we were saying intently. Then you were just doing some sort of a statue wala challenge or whatever the hell that race time was called. Anyway, what's your road to the final, bro? I asked you thrice, and your Wi-Fi said no to me. So what's your road to the final? Oh my God! Not again! Not again! Come on, man! Jinx it. Anyway,
Chelsea for him.
Chelsea for him for sure. He'll say Chelsea. He's very confident also. He's super confident about
Chelsea.
Champions League winners half season.
He's just texted. He's just texted on the chat box PSG.
Oh, PSG. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, a friend who supports City just messaged me saying, "Bro, you think City will win the Champions League? I don't have the belief anymore. We're broken as people. Yeah, we're absolutely broken." But anyway, Amog, if you can join right now, then fair enough. I'll let you speak. But you said PSG anymore, so I'm gonna do my outro. Zyada ho gaya, theek hai? Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you for all the comments, of course. Yeah, he said PSG twice. Thank you so much to Ritwik, Shivang, and Amog, who is not here currently. He's playing a false nine, for joining me and joining me. Guys, you should, of course, subscribe to the Mtag More Than a Game channel. Of course, Ritwik, myself, and Adibir just did a very exciting video on our Premier League team of the season draft, and there were quite a lot of controversial picks and not enough City players.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very quite a few controversial picks.
Yeah, Shivang said that the inclusion or exclusion of Shaw, I won't give you a spoiler, was something that didn't make him happy. You know, you can guess what you want.
My best friend's a United fan.
My best friend's a United fan as well. I don't know what it is. I'm cursed. Oh
Cresswell, really? Cresswell? Okay.
We didn't pick Cresswell, but we picked someone else who's a top defender. We won't say it though. But I picked Shaw anyway. But there's a couple of more comments. Arey bhai, meko karne de bhai outro. Abhishek says perennial black horses. Black horse is not a term, my bro. Dark horses, PSG. I don't think the dark horses. When you have Neymar and Mbappe in your team, you're not dark horses anymore. You've got to go and win it. Like it's not. It's just a bad excuse.
Liverpool should be a dark horse. If you
yeah, I agree. Liverpool and Porto.
Madrid too. Like I mean, in some ways,
the squad has won enough Champions League. Like if
but this season, if we look at this season and the injuries that we have, especially with Hazard and stuff, I do think that they could probably do something unexpected.
Yeah, you know what? Dark horses. I think dark horses should only be Porto. I don't think any other team should be there.
Yeah, makes sense.
Over dark horse. I think the teams that should sort of go on and win it are City and Bayern. I think if one of them don't win it, then it's a surprise this season. Amog, your wife, are you back? Are you finally
I'm back? Hopefully. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
we can.
Okay.
For now.
So my hot take is that PSG are going to win it.
You don't think Chelsea will sort of beat PSG?
So I think it could be a PSG-Chelsea final or a PSG-Liverpool final. But I think that PSG deserve a Champions League win.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm literally writing it down. Like I'm not even joking. I want to remember this. When Pepe scores the winner against Chelsea, I want to remember this. So yeah. But anyway, of course, Adibir with Daksh with a comment saying Haaland 2021. I hope Haaland doesn't destroy us in 2021. Please, I don't want to see that monster doing that. Adibir saying yeet in the comments. I love your takes. Daksh dropping 2 emojis. I don't have to reply to everything. I'm going to leave you guys on red now. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much to you guys for joining us. Of course, subscribe to the Mtag channel. Check out our videos. We're doing a lot of fun content and there's so much dropping soon anyway. And of course, if you're a cricket fan or whatever, you can check out our podcast as well. Visit the Mtag More Than a Game website. Just type it on Google and you'll find excellent articles from all the boys. What else do I plug? Of course, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, follow and all of that, man. Do all of that right now, all day and every day, because we're gonna take over, man. We're the dark horses, to be honest. We're not black horses. So thank you so much for joining us once again, guys, and we move.